Hi, fourth grade. This is Mrs. Brand. I am going to go over with you the rough draft process right now. So first, you have your organizing that you did. Mine is the Halloween party, so let's go through that. Getting to the party is 1. Who Are You game was 2. Feely box was 3. And best costume was 4. So at this point, what I would like to do is just to add a few details down here to help me to remember what I'm going to write about. So the Who Are You game, I'm going to write notes of we guessed characters. Okay, I'm not going to put a lot about that one. Feely box game, that it was hard. Items covered. Found all of them. Best costume, that's when I'm going to put down lined up and checked out costumes. Best one wins. Okay, so this is just helping me to remember how I want to write things out. That's what I would have you do. I think you're at a point though where you know what you're going to write about, the first, next, then type things. So what I did and what I want you to do is to put today's date up in the corner, put your title on the top. What do you think your title is going to be for your narrative? A day I went to the zoo, title, whatever it is. Then what I want you to do is we're going to put a hook. We're going to be talking about the hook for your writing. And so I want you to leave about half a page, maybe even more than what I left here. Leave about a half a page for your hook. And I'll talk about that next week. So then I want you to start writing. Now, I wrote mine out so you don't have to watch me write. And this is the body of my rough draft. Now, with a rough draft, I want you to skip lines. Okay, so sometimes it's good to, if you're going to skip lines, kind of put an X every other line so that you know you don't write on that line. But here's what I wrote. When we got to Jake's house, we started off by playing some games. First, we played Guess the Character. We had names on our backs, and people gave me clues to figure out what name was on my back. Then we played Guess the Items. There were 4 items in the box. We all took turns sticking our hands in the box and then writing down what we. And when you go on, you can go on to the back side. Just make sure you continue to skip lines. What we thought the 4 items were. I thought it was difficult because the box was filled with spaghetti noodles and Jell-O. It was hard to find all 4 items, but I found them all and guessed them correctly. An ID, a cork, a keychain, and a pen. Finally, it was the costume contest. Jake said, "Everyone line up in the living room so we can see all the costumes." The person with the best villain or superhero costume will get a prize, added Elizabeth. We all had to write down our favorite costume. It was so hard for me to choose. I like Cruella de Vil, Supergirl, and Batman. I chose Cruella de Vil as best costume. After all the votes were in, Jake read each of them aloud. Then, to my surprise, he announced the winner is the Queen of Hearts. I was so surprised. I went over to the table and looked at all the choices. I decided to take the pumpkin candle because it smelled great and I could use it all fall. And then what I did was on the back here, I put ending. And we're going to write an ending. That was all the meat of our day. It talked about all the different things that I had written down in my organizing. I talked about, we didn't talk about getting to the party, but that'll be in the hook there, except I said when we got to Jake's house. So I talked about the Who Are You, the Feely box and the best costume. Now, you might have noticed it's a little rough different places, or that I kind of, I definitely will have some editing to do. And that's part of writing our rough draft. It is something that we're going to write down, and then we're going to edit. That's part of the reason we leave spaces. Don't do it in pen. You have to do it in pencil. I did it in pen only because you couldn't read the pencil too well. I had to trace everything over so that you could read it up on the screen. Okay? So what I want you to do, what I want you to work on, is I want you to come up with that organizing thing, kind of get your idea in your head. I want you then to start writing. Okay? Leave that space like I did. Put your title, your hook, and then leave space, and just get into it. Write down what happened in that seed moment that we were talking about. The time I did this, or the time this happened, and write through it. You're going to have some mistakes in spelling. I actually made mistakes on purpose. You're going to have things that sound okay. The best thing to do before you start your writing is maybe even as you're thinking how you would say it to somebody. What things would you tell people? And then when you're ready, you can start writing it. Okay? The next time I meet with you about your rough draft, I want the body of the rough draft done with that space at the beginning and the space at the end for your beginning and your ending. Don't worry about that part. I want you to just think about the first, the next, then finally type situations. Okay? Make sure you add detail. We don't know the experience. We weren't there, but don't put things that don't matter into it. Okay? Hopefully you will be inspired to do your writing fine. Again, I want you to, after you watch this, I want you to get your notebook and I want you to start your writing process. All right, good luck with that, and I will see you soon.